Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Today, inshallah, I will just go through a PowerPoint which I have prepared for everyone. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I thought you were doing tilawat first.
Abi Saab said we will skip the tilawat.
Tiga. So, inshallah, today I'll just go through a small presentation which I made. And this will be giving you guys a small introduction of what being a Waqfe means, and how you can improve as being a Waqfe. So we'll just, because it's the first lesson, we don't want to go into any detail, but I just want to show you a few things which beloved Azura said. So Jahid, are you listening? Jahid, can I get you to just read this quickly? Maqsad.
After receiving divine guidance on April the 3rd, 1987, Hazrat Mirza Khalil Masih called on Ahmadi parents to devote the lives of their unborn children to the cause of the propagation of the community. He instructed them, keeping them up in such a way that they could grow up to willingly sacrifice everything for the sake of God. Therefore, this generation will be able to shoulder the responsibility of a Jamaat in its new country. Hazur Anha called the scheme dedicated to his initially the scheme was launched for 2 years, but this was later extended for 3, 4, and after that the scheme was made permanent with the added clause that those parents who wish to devote the lives of their children must do it before their birth.
Jazakallah. So basically from this we learn a few things that Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi Rahimullah only started it for a few years because they really needed children to dedicate their lives. But many parents, they saw this and they saw the blessings of this, and they wanted also their children to be part of this blessed scheme. So many people are writing to Hazur saying, please reopen this scheme because we want our children to also be part of it. And they were saying, Hazur always, he said as well that it was like the women were coming and they were saying, we are here, we are giving our children to you for the cause of the Jamaat. So I just wanted to firstly give this introduction of the importance of being a Waqfe and why it's so important. And Hazur spoke for great length on the importance of it. And I'll just go to the next slide. And Arham, are you on? It's going to get you guys just to read a few of these quotes. So just before you start, so Huzur basically gave a speech, and I'm sure you guys all saw it as well, on why Waqfe are very special. But it's not enough just saying that we are special, because we're born into the scheme. You're only going to be able to be called special if you're able to fulfill the criteria of being Waqfe. Only then can you be called special. So Arham, if you can just read the first one for us.
The whole thing, yeah?
Yeah, just the whole thing.
Waqfe are very special. They will have to prove that they are ahead of others in their relationship with Allah. Only then they will be called special. They will be called special if they have fear of God more than others. They will be called special if their standards of worship are a lot higher than others.
Jazakallah. Jahid, can you read this one?
The special are more forbearing than others, and in case of altercation and disorder, they not only refrain from them but become peacemakers. If in the field of propagation they take the lead position to fulfill the duty, then they are special.
Jazakallah. So first, the first one, which Arham, you read very beautifully. In this, the first and foremost thing is having fear of Allah, having taqwa. So before you do anything, you always think about Allah the Almighty, and you think, am I doing this to please Allah, or is He going to be angry for me? So always have Allah in your mind. Just that's the first step of becoming a good Waqfe. So this is what you must always think. Have that taqwa, have that high level of righteousness inside you. And then also another thing which Jahad, you read out, is talking about, whenever you see trouble, whenever you see people disputing or any sort of fight that's happening or anything that's wrong, you should be the one to step in there and to stop that fight and to make peace wherever you are. And wherever you are sitting, wherever you're going, you should always try to try best to become that person which people will see. They will see you as a role model, and they know that they can't mess around when you're there. So that's the effect that Waqfe should have. Can I get someone else? Francois, can you get one of the other kids to read this one? I don't know who else is on the call.
There's someone called Hanif. I think he's from Wolverhampton, Jamar.
Is Hanif on?
Yeah, let's see.
Dr. Hanif Saab?
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. I'm just getting everyone to read one quote from Azur. So
Yes.
can you just read this one as well, please?
Of course. They will be called special if they offer supererogatory prayers along with the obligatory ones.
Okay, so this, Jazakallah, Dr. Saab. So this again, supererogatory prayers is another word for nafil prayers. So along with your 5 daily prayers, another thing which you should be doing to be amongst those Waqfe or those people who are called special are doing nafil prayers. So just before Zuhr starts, for example, before Fajr starts, doing Tahajjud, just read 2 nafil or as much as you want, just to increase your capacity of becoming special in the eyes of Allah. So special really means becoming the best Muslim that you can be. You guys are so blessed, again I keep saying this, of being part of the scheme, but you also have this great responsibility of holding this baton, this banner of showing people that you are Waqfe. People should be able to recognize from far away that a Waqfe has walked into the room, and this can be done in many ways, and just through your namaz, just through the way you are dressed, just through the way you behave in front of people. People will tell that this guy is a really good person. Next person, can I get the next person to read this?
Okay, can Rahib Ahmed read? If Rahib wants to read the small box in blue. Is Rahib with us?
Do you want me to read this?
Okay, well, you can read.
Yes, okay, yeah. Abir, go for it.
There's a marked difference in their language and talking manners.
Yes. So again, sometimes when any atfal or any khudam, sometimes you hear them saying things that they shouldn't say. They might say a swear word or something. You as Waqfe, firstly, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But we see this when we're having atfal class and things. Guys, you will know this on atfal night as well. When someone says something they shouldn't say, sometimes you can do 2 things. You can either stay quiet, or you can be that person to say that this is wrong and you shouldn't be saying this. And it's happened many times, and I'm really proud when someone does say it, and that's exactly how you should be. So again, your behavior should be the best behavior of all the kids, and they should know that because he's Waqfe, this is why he's like this, and we should be like him as well. So be that person who people look at and they are their role model, and try to, especially your language, the way you speak, try to perfect it and make it the best that you can, and use the good things of a language, don't use the bad things of a language. So if we go back to Urham, can you read this again?
Yeah, sure. Boys and girls of Waqfe could be called special if they recite from the Holy Quran, look for its commandments, and after finding them, would act upon them. They regularly take part in the programs of the auxiliary organizations in the Jamaat more than the other. Rabbi Saab, your picture's in the way of the bottom left, the bottom right, so I can't really see the rest of the sentence.
That's shall I finish it off for you then?
Yes, please.
So, and the Jamaat more than others, then they will be special. So again, this so we can take a few things out of this. So we've talked about having taqwa. We've talked about becoming peacemakers. We've talked about increasing your namaz in terms of not just 5 daily prayers, but doing nafil. The way you speak, the way you behave in front of people. And now we're going to reading the Holy Quran, acting upon the Holy Quran, so understanding the Holy Quran. So for example, about being nice to your neighbors, talking kindly to people, praying, giving charity, all these things which the Quran tells you to do, you have to do them and act upon them. Acting upon the 700 commandments in the Holy Quran. So trying to fulfill those in your day, that's also showing that you are a good Waqfe. And also, this is very important as well, taking part in auxiliary organizations. So Arham, do you know what that means? Arham,
Sorry, can you say that again, Rabbi Saab?
you know what this bit of taking part in programs of the auxiliary organizations? What does that mean
No,
to you?
I'm not too sure in that.
So auxiliary organization, Dr. Hanif Saab, could you expand on that if you can? So I know I'm picking on people. Just trying to make it interactive.
The auxiliary organisations for the Jamaat, I believe, are like Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyyat and Atfal al-Ahmadiyyat and Lajna. So taking part, going to the local and regional ijtimas and going to the local classes, attending this class might be counted as an example as well.
Yeah, perfect. Hit the nail on the head there, Jazakallah. So Arham, auxiliary organization is just a fancy word for Atfal Ahmadiyyat, Jamaat Ahmadiyyat, Khudam Ahmadiyyat. So that's something to note. And whenever you hear this word, just remember they're talking about the different groups in the Jamaat of the youth and Atfal, Khudam, Nasirat, Lajna. So if there's any program that's set up for you, know that people have made a great effort to set that program up. And just being in that program, you're going to have so many blessings and you'll benefit so much. Just like in Walsall, how we have, Atfal night on Thursdays before the lockdown, not now, but before the lockdown, everyone was coming together. You guys were learning so many different things, and even just putting those pop-up banners, Arham, when you're in charge of setting up, and Jahid being in charge of the Taaleem, making sure the right person is doing Tilawat, making sure the right person is doing Hadith. So all these little skills that you're learning, they're going to benefit you so much in the future. So whenever there's any program, just like the online classes we're having now, and afterwards as well, inshallah, just try your best to make that your priority. Sometimes we say, we have schoolwork and all these kind of things. We try to make excuses not to attend, but the earlier you start that from a young age, and you guys are all, mashallah, very young, if you understand that, Jamaat comes first, and you have been given this opportunity to be born into a system where you have said, and your parents have said, that Jamaat, I'm putting that before anything. And I know if I do that, then everything in my life will be blessed. And so you guys really need to understand this important point about putting faith over worldly matters. And when you can, you should do it. So again, taking part in programs, along with reading the Holy Quran as well, these 2 points are extremely important. So Jahid, you're up next.
I think let's introduce Atif as well.
Is Atif here as well?
Yeah. So Atif, if you want to...
Assalamu alaikum, Atif Saab.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Atif, could you read the one in the corner, left corner?
Yeah, sure. They will be special if they will be spending their time to attain religious knowledge rather than looking at the useless things on the internet. If the appearances of the boys will be distinguishable from others, then they will be distinguishable.
Jazakallah. So Jazakallah, very good. So again, this is very important for especially now guys who spend a lot of time on their phones or on their computers or searching the internet. You can use that to benefit you, and we'll learn how you can do that as well. But a lot of the time, you can waste your time. So with this, because remember, you guys are Waqfe, you guys aren't normal people. You guys are people who Huzur has looked at and has accepted you as Waqf. Many times Huzur doesn't always accept a child into Waqf, but he's looked at all of you and said, there's something in this child. And if he's obedient and if he understands what he is what he is, Waqfe know, then he will be able to do all of these things in front of you right now. So again, with this one, attaining religious knowledge. So right now you guys are doing that. You guys have made that conscious decision of attending this class. You've said that I'm going to put everything to a side for a bit, for just half an hour, and I'm going to make this my priority to learn something and to better my knowledge. And just that, maybe you knew or you didn't know, but just that you've made Jamaat ahead of other things. So again, this is very important. And the last bit about your appearance, I've touched on that as well. And we always talk about this. Atif, I would know I've talked to you about this as well, about your appearance, about the way you dress, about the way you come to the mosque, about looking the best that you can. Remember, you guys aren't normal kids. You're not normal adults. You're people that people will look at and people will see as role models. And so that's why I always tell you guys to try and wear the best clothes that you can. It doesn't have to be, fully fancy, coming to namaz suited and booted, but it's just clothes which are a good standard, a decent standard. And people will say like, wow, mashallah, he's come fully prepared for namaz, or he's come fully prepared for class. It's not like he's just come out of bed. He's come into his pajamas, his bananas and pajamas. He's come with proper clothes. He's come with a nice shirt. He's come with good chinos or good jeans and nice shoes, and he's taken care of himself. And this was the practice of the Holy Prophet ﷺ as well. So again, look, if you link everything together, teachings from the Holy Quran, having taqwa, having fear of Allah, preparing properly, just like we prepare for mulaqat. We make sure everything's right. We make sure our nails are cut. We make sure our hair is combed. We make sure we're wearing perfume. And so why should anything be different otherwise? So we can do it. It's just about making that decision of doing it, of becoming the best that you can be in every situation. I think the next person is Zabir. Or was it Jahid? Sorry, Jahid, and then we go to Abir. Wa alaikum salam.
The very is felt in humility and self-knowledge. Hate, arrogance, and vain. Jihad is a sin.
Yeah, so this, Jahid, do you know what this means? Could you explain that? If you read it again.
I think it means people are selfish.
Yeah.
That's it.
What does humility mean? I think we mentioned this. Remember we did a class on this as well.
I forgot.
Humility. Okay, so excelling in humility. Arham, do you wanna say anything on this? Do you understand it?
I mean, I think so. They're special if they do all these things. Selflessness means if you are not just all about yourself, like it's almost the opposite of selfish. And if they hate arrogance, so if they're not arrogant, if they're not like, arrogant towards like their religion and stuff, and their selflessness means you're like to everyone, like you're almost in a way generous and things like that.
Perfect. That's exactly what it is. So with this, you guys, Arham is perfect. It's just being humble, always thinking about other people before yourself. When you have something in your hand or you're eating something, you think about other people and you offer it to other people, and you're just not thinking about yourself. So all these little things, and you hate arrogance. You hate people who always talking about themselves. You don't want to become like that. You want to become someone who's humble towards Allah the Almighty and thank Allah, instead of saying, because of me, I did this, or because of me, I made this. Instead, you put Allah before. You say, because of Allah, I was able to do this. So it's just fine-tuning your language and fine-tuning the way you speak and the way you think to become humble. And waging jihad, jahid, this comes from your word, jahid and jihad. To wage jihad against them. So waging and telling people who are like this, tell them, you shouldn't talk like this. You shouldn't say something like this. You should be humble and not say all these things because you've done it. It's because Allah the Almighty has enabled us to do it. So again, that's the last one. And Bir, I think the last one before we go to the next bit. Bir, can you read this last one?
Yes, 1 second. It is the special status if they excel their brothers and sisters in treating their parents well and praying for them.
Yes. Another thing which is very, very important, we should always remember when we're doing namaz, we always read Rabbir Hamhuma Kama Rabbayani Saghira. And I remember we were trying to learn this wa Rabbir Hamhuma Kama Rabbayani Saghira because this comes from your name as well, Arham. So Rabbir Hamhuma Kama Rabbayani Saghira. We must pray this a lot because you'll realize when you become parents, it's very difficult to look after children. Right from when they are born, or even before they are born, to the point where they are born and raising them up to becoming adults, to becoming 18, 19. All our parents are doing this right now and have done this. So to remember them in namaz, to remember them when they are looking after us, remember they went through difficult times to make us where we are today. So remember those people, you remember your parents, they're so important, and the Quran has spoken at length about the importance of parents. So that's why I just wanted to give these quotes. This is all from Huzur's speech in 2016 on the 28th of October. So Huzur was saying that you guys are special, but you have to fulfill these criteria to become special. And that's when you really shine as Waqfe. So that's that bit. Before we go, I just wanted to highlight this bit, and this is all from the Waqfe website. I've put the links on the bottom here. So if you guys just type in Waqfe on Google, and the website will come up. So all the syllabus for you guys are there, and they've made it very colorful and made it very nice. So from 1 to 7, from 7 to 15, from 15 to 21 plus. And so just look at that. Yeah, that's good. If you have this, that's perfect. If you don't have it, it's online. It's made very easy to learn. We were going through the Waqfe syllabus as well before when we were doing classes, but just try again. I think it's split up in the first 6 months and second 6 months of your whatever age you are. So do your best. And for those guys who are older, Dr. Hanif Saab and everyone, sometimes we get through the ages, but there's a lot of things that we missed out. So it's always good to go back and then go through it again until we are at the age that we are supposed to be and know the things that we're supposed to know. So these are the links. These are the syllabus for you. Go through them and try your best to learn them. And every week we'll just go through each age, depending on who's on, and we'll just see if you've learned that bit or if you need to learn that bit. So just as a reminder. Yeah, so don't forget that you guys are Waqfe. Don't forget that you guys have responsibility, and we need to be at a level religious with our knowledge, with our spirituality, and with our demeanor, with the way that we act in front of people. So these 3 things. So that, inshallah, will be good. And from next week as well, I'm just going to take this book, which is called The Essence of Waqfe, what Waqfe is all about. And we're just going to go and learn a bit from this book. And inshallah, we'll be able to increase our knowledge in that way. So that's the end of today's class. Go through the syllabus whenever you can. Stay up to date, and remember to become special. Become the best Waqfe you can be by becoming a role model for others. And that's really the last message that I want to end on. Inshallah, next week we can again meet up. And it's nice. We're gonna have just like we have at Fall Night, we're gonna split it up as well. We can have different responsibilities. We start even Kahoot quizzes and stuff just to increase our knowledge, just to make it a little bit fun. So it's not just me speaking or not just someone else speaking. Let's make it interactive. And it's usually for half an hour because we started a bit late today. But usually, if we can start on time, 5 o'clock to 5:30, done, and then we can carry on with our day. So Jazakallah, Quran Saab, your Waqfe secretary, the Beach Saab for organizing.
Murphy Saab, Jait has his hand raised, so I think he wants to say something.
Question or something.
Jai, do you want to ask anything?
Exactly what a hard copy of them right now.
Sorry?
Exactly what a hard copies of those books for now.
Do you have a hard copy?
I got the very old one, the first one that ever came out.
Okay, if anything to do with syllabus, just Faransa, if you can just look into that and
Yeah, I will.
make sure they've all
Look
got it.
into this and
Yeah.
see
But Ajay, you have a phone, so you can just always go online as well, and you can go through that one as well. Yeah. We'll
also
just try
for-
to go through it every week and just make sure we stay up to date.
Yeah. Okay. Jazakallah. And for next week also, I think we'll have tilawat, hadith, and sayings of the Prophet Islam.
Yeah.
So I will allocate, like, we'll rotate the children, whoever comes. So for next week, I will have, for example, Jahid for tilawat, Arham for hadith, and Atif for writing of the Prophet Islam.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with that next week, inshallah. So
Inshallah.
jazakallah everyone for participating. So inshallah,
Jazakallah.
we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Jazakallah everyone for joining. Take care. Atif, Anisa, Jahid. Alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.